Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. My salutations to the Sadguru, the enlightened Master who bestows upon us the highest wisdom of Atma Gnana, self-realization, which liberates us from all bondage and suffering. My pranams to all. Today is day 11. Let us continue our contemplation on the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita. We are going through an overview of the 18 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita. Today's chapter is chapter number 8, which is called Akshara Brahma Yoga. The Akshara Brahma Yoga has two main themes. One is the theme of Omkara, the meditation on Om. Why this is specifically taught and discussed is because of the second theme, because of its connection to the second theme, which is about death. Sri Krishna brings clarity about what happens after death and what are the kind of journeys that different people take based on how they have lived their life, what kind of journeys they take after the body dies. So these are the two main themes. But first of all, let us understand what is Akshara Brahma Yoga. Akshara, as we commonly know it, is as alphabets. Akshara means perishable, that which gets destroyed or dissipates. Akshara means imperishable. The imperishable supreme reality, Brahman, is what is to be contemplated on. So Sri Krishna goes on to tell, so there is Kshara, which is perishable, and there is Akshara, which is imperishable. We have two aspects. We have a Kshara aspect, which is the body and the mind, and all the world that we see, the objects, they all are impermanent, Kshara. But there is something Akshara in us, that is the supreme reality, Brahman, that is God. So we have a Kshara part and we have a Akshara part. When we realize our Akshara part, we become free. That is what is the realization of the Akshara in us is called self-realization, Jivan Mukti. Now, Sri Krishna answers the question, how do I realize it? So, Sri Krishna in this chapter prescribes the Akshara Yoga, which is called as Dhyana on, meditation on Omkara. Omkara is the sacred Akshara sound. Omkara is the divine sound, sacred sound, which is also known as the name of Bhagavan, Brahman, another name of Brahman. When we chant Om, Om, the Om has a sound aspect, Om and Ma, and it has a silence aspect. So chanting of Om immediately brings silence to the mind, calms down the mind, and connects the mind with the divine. So Sri Krishna prescribes the Omkara meditation. Meditation on Omkara purifies the mind and moves the minds towards Akshara. Arjuna previously has asked, so Sri Krishna, you prescribed all these practices, these sadhanas. Let's say I'm practicing them, and for some reason I'm not able to continue. Maybe because I die or something happens and it stops. What happens then? Sri Krishna assures that whatever you do on this path, on the spiritual path, will never be lost. So he says it is such a person whose path gets obstructed is called a yoga brashta. For somebody who is not able to complete, not able to reach realization, but has stopped in between, probably because of death. So what happens then? He says there are uh, two things that can happen to such a person, to a yoga brashta. One is, this person is either born in a very wealthy family where they continue their practices, or they're born in a place where they will receive the teachings of Atmagnana and the practice will continue. So this is for the person who is on the spiritual path and has done practices. Sri Krishna also goes on to tell how does death work. Antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram. Those who think about me at the time of death, they come to me. So one is, there is realization when you are alive. It's called Jivan Mukti. To realize the Akshara when you are alive, then death becomes irrelevant. You go beyond birth and death. Now somebody has not attained Jivan Mukti. What happens to them? At the time of death, if the mind moves, if the person chants Om, or the mind moves towards Parabrahman, then they, Sri Krishna tells, they will reach me, they will come to me. But how is it? Is it so easy that the mind will think about the Parabrahman at the time of death? So can we say, okay, we will do whatever we want throughout our lives, and at the end we will just think of God and we'll become free? How will that happen? So we have heard in many of the movies and stories we hear that at the time of death your entire life flashes in front of your eyes. At the time of death, the summary of your entire life comes in front of you. To think about the higher, you must have those thoughts and that lifestyle throughout your life. So it is said that Yuddha Kale you cannot do Shastrabhyasa. You cannot practice using weapons on the battlefield. The practice has to happen before so that you can perform on the battlefield. So the battlefield is like death. Death is the last point. Whatever you have to do then, you need a momentum for that. So the momentum of your life creates the thought at the time of death. Because we don't know how death will come. Death might come at any point of time. There is a beautiful story that we had in school called the Enchanted Pool. It is a story from the Mahabharata where the 5 Pandava brothers go to a pool, a water body to drink water. But before they drink water, they have to answer the questions of a being called Yaksha. And if they answer wrong, they don't get to drink the water. But if they do drink the water, after that, they die. So one by one the Pandavas go and they fail to answer, they drink the water and they die. Finally Yudhishthira is asked the questions. Yudhishthira tells, I will answer all the questions that you ask Yaksha, please ask me. And the last question that the Yaksha asks Yudhishthira is, what is the most surprising thing, astonishing thing in the world? Yudhishthira says, the most astonishing thing is, people see people dying every day, but they think it will never happen to them. We do not know when death will come. Death can come at any time, in any form. And we don't know what will be our state. Will we be in coma? Will we have some disease? Will it be instant? We don't know how we will make that crossing. So to contemplate, to think about the teachings, Bhagwan, throughout our life is the way out. So Sri Krishna tells, this is one way. And then there are people who have not are not on this path. What happens to them? So there are two paths, he says, for them. One is the path of light, one is the path of darkness. The path of light is a path of no return, and the path of darkness is the path of return. So, whatever we do, the good or bad, we experience that, and the cycle continues, birth and rebirth, birth and rebirth. This is called a path of darkness, wherein we are, whatever we do, we experience that, those results, good or bad, and again come back here and experience and do further actions and continue this to be in the cycle of birth and death. Then there is a path of death, the path of light, wherein somebody who has moved out of uh, good and bad karma, they have moved to spiritual practices. It's called as sukarma, uh, the actions done on the path of moksha. If they die, what happens? Based on their life and their the whatever sadhana meditation that they have done, they will, Shri Krishna tells, if they die without Jivan Mukti, they will go to a divine plane, divine realm, and from there they will attain Mukti. But for the path, people who have not led a righteous life, who have not contemplated on the truth, who are far from it, they will continue to be in the cycle of life and death. So this is what Sri Krishna outlines. The Omkara meditation, to contemplate on Omkara, to realize the Akshara, and the possibilities of death. What happens after that for different people, for the person who's on the path of light, for the person who's on the spiritual path, for the person who is not on the spiritual path, what the person thinks, or the strongest thought pattern that is there at the time of death will lead them to will create the next life. This is the overview of chapter 8, Akshara Brahma Yoga. Loka samastha sukhino bhavantu. Loka samastha sukhino bhavantu. Loka samastha sukhino bhavantu. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.